Hey guys, this is Ben with Upstart HR, and I am glad to be here today, trying out some new videos, trying to get back into the swing of things with some video content, maybe actually doing it a little better this time. I don't know, I try to make the content good so that if the quality is not as awesome, but I've been trying to raise the quality standards as well. So today I want to talk a little bit about culture, and I talk a lot about corporate culture and your employees, how you can use that as a tool for your employees. I actually wrote a short guide called Rock Your Corporate Culture, and it talks about how to define your culture so that you can share that, how to leverage it, for hiring people, for keeping your good people, and also how to change it. Some places don't have a culture just like it needs to be, and it goes through some of the steps in the change process for how to change that. Anyway, I want to talk about culture on the vendor side of things, actually. We work with a lot of vendors to provide us with things that we then incorporate into our products at work. When we're doing things for, when we're building an aircraft simulator for one of our customers, we're getting a lot of different pieces from different vendors, and then we're taking those, putting them together, and getting them out to the customer. Okay, so our number one value, core value, this thing that we live by no matter what, is deliver on time every time. That's our thing. Our customers know things are going to be on time, and no matter what we have to do to get it there, we're going to do it. Well, this last year we've been growing and pulling these new vendors in to supply things for us, and the problem we run into is they don't know that. They don't understand that when we say, hey, we want this by this date, that we're not just arbitrarily picking something. We have this laid out, very exact, very detailed plan for how to get this stuff done in time so that we get it to our customers with plenty of time for them to test it and everything else. So I've been talking to our property team, our purchasing team, about how to do that. And I remembered that Zappos, the online shoe company, they're widely known for their corporate culture. Well, they actually put out a culture book every year that is full of quotes from employees, from customers, and from their vendors, people that work with them, so that anyone can see this. And even if they left their vendors out, even if they left their customers out and just talked to the employees and got their feedback on their core values, they could share that with the vendor and say, hey, we're not just saying this because we're the people talking to you want something here. Here's what every one of our employees really thinks, and they can hand them a copy of that book. We've been kind of working on developing something kind of similar to that at work, and a tool just to kind of communicate our culture, especially for new hires, things like that. Also, when we're going to customers and they're saying, okay, there are 100 companies out there who do exactly what you do. What makes you different? Why should we care, about you? It's just a way for us to kind of share that with them. You know what? We abide by these core values, these things that run our lives, run our company every day. When we have a decision to make, this is what we filter it through. It's not just, hey, what's expedient, what's easy, what's going to get the job done for the least amount of money. It's, hey, we're going to get it on time every time. Unequivocal excellence. Honesty and integrity through open communications. All these different values that we have, we have 6, so not a huge number, but these things are so important to us, and they run our lives literally every day. Someone has to make a decision, and if you're not sure, especially for the new people, you haven't been there for 5 years, you don't know how we handled it last time, maybe there's not always someone there for you to ask. Well, you know what? Look at the core values. Look at the things that we tell you that we believe in. We hire people based on those values. If we see those in them, we ask questions in our interviews that are kind of geared to feel them out for what how much of a fit they are for those, because culture fit is a huge importance for us in the interview process. And if someone comes in and we say, here's our core values, here's what we believe in, and they have to make a decision, and you can make a good case, hey, I tried to do this because here's why. I tried to follow this value the best I could. If you made the wrong decision, hey, you know what, we can look at that. But at least they're trying to do the right thing, and they're trying to follow what we believe in, what we tell them we believe in. It's not just lip service. It's not just a nice thing to say, let's put the core values up on the wall in the lobby and forget they exist forever. We talk about them at least on a quarterly basis, usually more often than that, with every one of our employees when we do our quarterly staff meetings. So it's huge for us. And now we're looking at how to communicate that to our vendors so that they understand the gravity of something when we say, okay, it has to be done by this date, or we're not going to be on time for our customers. In the last year, we look back and we've delivered hundreds of items. We're 100% on time for hundreds of items, and that's virtually unheard of, in our industry. So that's something we're so proud of, and we're trying to keep that up. But when there's a middleman between us and what has to go to the customer, that inserts a little bit of an issue in there. But it's just an opportunity for us to work with our vendors and share with them, so that when they're talking to another vendor out there in the space who maybe does a complimentary type service or supplements something that they don't actually provide, and they're saying, hey, who are you guys working with? They say, we're working with this Pinnacle company. They are on time every time. They are hard-nosed about that stuff, but they're also, they pay us on time every time. They make sure that all their obligations are taken care of every time, because that applies across the board, not just when we're sending something to our customer, but when we're trying to pay our vendors, when we're trying to handle an employee relations issue. I've got that on time every time thing. That's how it applies to me and what I do, in my recruiting roles and my HR roles. On time every time applies across that as well. So anyway, just thinking today a little bit about how corporate culture kind of applies even outside the organization. How can you tie it in with your vendors and explain to them what you truly believe in, what matters most to you as a company, so that they support you in reaching your goals. Make them a part of your story, so that when you're old and gray and talking about all these war stories, you can say, hey, this is the vendor that helped us out. Whatever. Anyway, just an interesting idea, something for you to kick around, talk about. I know you have HR vendors, and I do as well. And that might be where this conversation kind of applies. If you're asking for them to process something in a timely manner, and something about being timely is in your core values, that's why you explain to them. I'm not just asking it because it's nice to have, or because I want it done then. There's a firm, commitment by me to do this, and you supporting me in that is going to make us both successful. If one of your core values is something about honesty or integrity, which a lot of companies have values like that, that's when you work with your vendors and say, hey, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not going to deceive you in any way in the process of getting these benefits set up, or in working through these problems or anything, or reporting a workers' comp claim. I'm going to be as honest as I possibly can, because that's something that we believe in. And I think that's so uncommon that it's going to blow a lot of people away. So think about that today. What are your values as a company? Or maybe your company doesn't have any. They probably need some if you want to have a good, strong corporate culture that's well defined for your people. But just look at those and see how you can apply those to your vendor relationships across the board, not just within HR, but even outside that as well. So I'd love to hear your comments, questions, ideas. You can hit me up, ben@upstarthr.com, or just check out the website, upstarthr.com. Thank you for your time, and have a great day.